County Jail, 3:15 p.m. Elena sat handcuffed in running gear. Hold still, Officer Hayes grabbed her hair and yanked hard. Elena's curls stretched tight. This isn't procedure, she said quietly. Shut up. Electric clippers buzzed. Hayes dragged them across her scalp. Black hair fell in chunks to concrete. Look at that nappy hair! Vargas laughed, filming. Elena's eyes filled with tears. You're making a mistake. The only mistake was you running your mouth, Hayes said, shaving another strip. Elena looked into his body camera lens. Her voice was steady despite tears. Tomorrow afternoon at 10 a.m., you'll understand the real consequences. The timestamp read 3:15 p.m. In 19 hours, these officers would learn who they just humiliated. Comment if you've been disrespected by authority. This ends with justice. 24 hours earlier, Judge Elena Ramirez stood in her chambers adjusting her black robes. At 52, she carried herself with quiet authority earned through decades of fighting for justice. Her office walls displayed her Yale Law diploma, Supreme Court clerkship certificate, and photos with senators who respected her sharp legal mind. Elena reviewed case files spread across her mahogany desk. 2 thick folders marked People v. Vargas and People v. Hayes contained disturbing evidence. Officer Vargas had 17 complaints filed against him over 5 years. Officer Hayes had 14. Every single complaint had been dismissed without investigation. She studied their photographs, paper-clipped to witness statements. Vargas wore his uniform with obvious pride, smirking like he owned the world. Hayes looked into the lens with cold eyes that suggested he enjoyed power over others. These men would stand before her bench tomorrow afternoon for sentencing on excessive force charges. Her law clerk, Alex, entered with steaming coffee and fresh documents. Your Honor, the police union filed another motion for venue change. They claim you might be biased against law enforcement. Elena looked up from the files, her expression sharp. Biased how, Alex? Because I believe officers should follow the same laws as everyone else. Alex shifted uncomfortably. They didn't specify their reasoning, ma'am, just claimed potential prejudice. Elena's phone buzzed with a text from her daughter, Sophia. Mom, be careful downtown today. Protests getting heated near the courthouse. Love you, Elena typed back. Don't worry, baby, justice has a way of working itself out. She touched the small recording device in her purse, a gift from Sophia after Elena received anonymous threats about the upcoming sentencing. Sophia insisted her mother carry it everywhere. Elena had laughed it off initially, but lately the threats were becoming more specific and personal. Across town at the police station, Vargas and Hayes suited up in the locker room. Their conversation carried the casual arrogance of men who believed themselves untouchable. You see who's presiding tomorrow? Vargas asked, strapping on his vest. Hayes spat into the sink. Judge Ramirez, another bleeding heart liberal. Vargas laughed while checking his weapon. These activist judges don't understand real police work. They sit in ivory towers making decisions about situations they've never faced. We'll see how high and mighty she acts if she ever ends up on our side of the handcuffs, Hayes said with a cruel smile. They had no idea Elena Ramirez planned to jog through downtown during lunch. They didn't know her running route would take her past the courthouse plaza where protesters gathered all week. Most importantly, they couldn't imagine that a black woman in jogging clothes would be the same person holding their futures in her hands. The courthouse clock chimed noon as Elena finished reviewing files. She changed into running gear, athletic pants, a worn Stanford hoodie, and comfortable sneakers. To anyone watching, she looked like any middle-aged woman heading out for exercise. Outside, protesters filled Civic Plaza with signs reading, "Accountability now," and "Badge does not equal immunity." News vans circled like vultures, waiting for drama. Police officers stood at every corner, faces hidden behind riot shields and dark sunglasses. Elena stretched beside courthouse steps, checking her fitness tracker. She had no idea that Vargas and Hayes were receiving radio dispatch at that moment. All units, crowd control situation developing. Authorize aggressive intervention tactics. As she began jogging toward the plaza, neither side recognized the other. The judge who would decide their fate was about to become their victim. Justice was about to collide with injustice in the most unexpected way possible. Elena's recording device sat silently in her purse, waiting to capture evidence that would change everything. 2:15 p.m. Elena finished her warm-up stretches and began jogging toward downtown. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the courthouse steps as she settled into her regular pace. Her Stanford hoodie was comfortable and worn, her running shoes silent on the pavement. The protests had swelled beyond what she expected. Hundreds of people filled Civic Plaza, their chants echoing off the surrounding buildings. No justice, no peace rang out in a steady rhythm. Elena slowed her pace, realizing her usual route would take her directly through the crowd. She pulled out her phone to check alternate routes when the first tear gas canister exploded 20 feet away. The acrid smoke burned her eyes instantly. Elena stumbled, coughing and disoriented, her phone clattering to the sidewalk. "Disperse immediately or face arrest." Vargas's voice boomed through a megaphone. Elena wiped tears from her eyes and bent to retrieve her phone. The crowd surged around her as people ran from the advancing police line. She tried to move toward her parked car, but the chaos made navigation impossible. "You stop right there." Elena turned to see Officer Hayes approaching rapidly, his hand resting on his baton. His partner, Vargas, followed close behind, both men moving with aggressive purpose. "Officer, I'm just trying to get to my car," Elena said, still coughing from the tear gas. "Hands where I can see them." "You were throwing rocks at the police." Elena raised her hands slowly, confusion clear on her face. "I wasn't throwing anything. I was jogging and got caught in the turnaround now." Hayes grabbed Elena's arm and spun her toward the nearest patrol car. Her expensive BMW sat just 50 yards away, but it might as well have been on another planet. "Officers, I think there's been a misunderstanding," Elena said, her voice steady despite the situation. Vargas stepped closer, his body camera recording everything. Elena's casual clothes and tear gas-streaked face fit perfectly into their narrative of a troublemaking protester. "What's a lady like you doing in this neighborhood stirring up trouble?" Vargas asked. "I have every right to be here. I was exercising." Hayes pulled out his handcuffs with practiced efficiency. "Attitude problem. I like that. Makes this more interesting." Elena complied as he cuffed her hands behind her back. Her purse hit the ground, contents spilling across the sidewalk. The small recording device tumbled out, landing near a storm drain where it continued recording unnoticed. "You're under arrest for disturbing the peace, resisting arrest and assault on a police officer," Vargas announced for his body camera. "Assault on an officer? I never touched either of you," Elena protested. "You threw a rock. I saw it clearly," Hayes lied without hesitation. Elena's face hardened as she watched them fabricate charges in real time. 37 years in the justice system, and she was witnessing its corruption firsthand. "Officers, I strongly advise you to verify your facts before proceeding with this arrest." Hayes laughed as he guided her towards the patrol car. "Oh, she's advising us now. You a lawyer, honey?" Elena said nothing. Her silence unsettled them more than screaming would have. "What's wrong? Cat got your tongue?" Vargas taunted. As they shoved Elena into the back seat, her recording device continued, capturing every word from the gutter. Vargas's boot barely missed, crushing it as he walked back to disperse more protesters. The trap was set. Justice was about to get a very personal education in injustice. 3 p.m. The Sallyport doors of County Jail slammed shut with finality. Elena sat handcuffed in the back of the patrol car as Vargas and Hayes high-fived through the windshield, celebrating another easy arrest. "Easiest collar of the day," Hayes bragged to his partner. "Did you see her face when I said she threw that rock?" "Priceless," Vargas replied, still laughing. Intake Officer Patel approached with standard paperwork, his expression tired from processing dozens of protesters. The afternoon shift was always chaotic during demonstrations. "What did we get, boys? Disturbing the peace, resisting arrest, assault on an officer?" Vargas rattled off. "Real piece of work. I think she's better than everyone else." Elena exited the vehicle with as much dignity as handcuffs allowed. Other arrestees from the protest watched from holding cells. Most were young activists, some still holding smuggled phones despite repeated warnings from guards. "Yo, film this," whispered one activist to another. "They're about to process another one." Elena moved through intake methodically. Fingerprints, mugshot. She maintained eye contact with every camera, every witness, her composure unnerving the officers. "Skip the medical check on this one," Hayes told Patel. "The princess here thinks she's special." "I have the right to medical evaluation and a phone call," Elena stated calmly. Vargas stepped closer, invading her personal space. "You have the right to shut your mouth." Patel shifted uncomfortably behind his desk. Most arrestees were either furious or terrified by this point. Elena seemed strangely prepared, like she understood the system better than they did. "Ma'am, we do need to conduct a contraband search," Patel said apologetically. "It's standard procedure for all." "I understand protocol, Officer Patel," Elena interrupted. Her calm tone made Patel pause. Something about her bearing her vocabulary seemed familiar, but before he could place it, Hayes had already retrieved electric clippers from the supply closet. "Yeah, well, protocol includes a thorough hair check," Hayes announced. "Could be hiding drugs, weapons, anything in all that hair." Elena knew this was completely false. She had helped write the county's detention policies during her tenure on the Judicial Review Board. Hair searches were only permitted for violent felonies, not misdemeanor charges. "That is not standard protocol for disturbing the peace charges," she said firmly. "It is now," Vargas lied smoothly. "County policy changed last week. New anti-terrorism measures." Hayes moved closer with the clippers, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. "So we can do this easy or we can do this hard, sweetheart." Elena looked around the intake area, calculating. 3 activists with phones pressed against cell bars, security cameras in every corner. Patel grew more nervous by the second. She made a decision that would change everything. "Proceed, Officer Hayes." Hayes grabbed her hair roughly, his fingers tangling in her natural curls. The clippers buzzed to life with mechanical violence. Other arrestees gasped and began recording through the bars. "This is messed up. Y'all see this?" shouted one activist, holding up his phone. "Show's over. Phones away or you're getting charged too." Vargas barked at the crowd. Elena's hair began falling in thick coils to the concrete floor. 30 years of growth, countless hours of care and maintenance. Hayes worked methodically, grinning as he destroyed what had taken decades to create. "Look at all this contraband hiding space," he taunted, running the clippers in brutal strips across her scalp. Vargas pulled out his personal phone and began filming. "Smile for the camera, Your Honor. I mean inmate." The slip stopped everyone cold. The activists fell silent. Patel's clipboard clattered to the floor. Even Hayes paused mid-cut, the clippers still buzzing in his hand. "What did you just call her?" Patel whispered. Elena locked eyes with Vargas, her partially shaved head held high with dignity intact. "Careful, Officer Vargas. Your words have power." Hayes, oblivious to the tension, continued cutting. "What kind of drugs are you hiding in here, sweetheart?" Elena's scalp showed through patchy stubble, but her composure remained unshaken. She spoke loud enough for every phone to capture. "Actually, Officer Hayes, you don't decide when it's enough." Something in her tone made Hayes finally stop cutting. The room fell unnaturally quiet, except for the humming fluorescent lights overhead. Elena turned to face the security camera directly, her voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed. "Every action in this facility is recorded. Every word is documented. Every abuse of power is catalogued for review." Vargas's face had gone pale. "What's that supposed to mean?" Elena's response would haunt them both. "It means tomorrow afternoon when the sun rises, truth has a way of surfacing, and justice, gentlemen, is about to be served." 3:22 p.m. Patel's radio crackled with urgent dispatch. "All units APB on missing person. Judge Elena Ramirez failed to return from lunch break. Last seen jogging near Courthouse Plaza." Patel's clipboard crashed to the floor. His face went ghost white as he stared at the woman with the freshly shaved head sitting in orange jail clothes. Oh God. Oh no. Oh no. Vargas stepped closer, annoyed by Patel's panic. "What's wrong with you?" Patel pointed at Elena with a trembling finger, then at the arrest paperwork, then back at Elena. His voice cracked when he finally spoke. "Do you idiots know who this is?" Hayes still held the electric clippers. Elena's hair scattered around his feet like evidence of a crime. "Some protester." "So what?" Patel's voice rose to near hysteria. "Hayes, you just shaved the head of the Honorable Judge Elena Ramirez." Complete silence. The kind of silence that comes before earthquakes and explosions. Even the fluorescent lights seemed to buzz quieter. Elena stood motionless, her partially shaved head held high with devastating dignity. The orange jumpsuit looked almost regal on her composed frame. Vargas's voice broke like a teenager's. "That's not possible." She was at the protest. She was throwing rocks. Elena's response was measured and final. "Officer Vargas, tomorrow at 10 a.m., you and Officer Hayes will appear in my courtroom for sentencing on excessive force charges." The clippers fell from Hayes's nerveless fingers, clattering on concrete next to Elena's destroyed hair. "But you were jogging. You were in civilian clothes." Hayes stammered. "I was exercising my constitutional right to peaceful assembly and freedom of movement," Elena replied. The activists in holding cells realized what was happening. Phones emerged despite all previous threats. Oh my God, they arrested a judge, screamed one activist, live-streaming frantically, and shaved her head. "This is going viral right now," shouted another. Elena turned to address the security camera with her full profile visible, ensuring perfect documentation. "For the record, I am Judge Elena Ramirez, Superior Court of Los Angeles County. Badge numbers 4187 and 3294 have violated my civil rights, fabricated criminal charges, and subjected me to cruel and unusual punishment." Patel scrambled for damage control. "Ma'am, Your Honor, this is obviously a mistake. We can fix this immediately." Elena's interruption was ice cold. "Officer Patel, the mistake was made when these officers decided my appearance gave them permission to abuse their authority." Vargas fumbled for his radio with shaking hands. "Dispatch, we need a supervisor at the county jail." Code red emergency. "Nature of emergency," dispatch responded. Vargas's long pause spoke volumes. "We've arrested Judge Ramirez." Static filled the radio as dispatch processed this information. Hayes tried desperately to salvage the situation. "Your Honor, we didn't know you didn't know because you saw a black woman in jogging clothes and assumed I belonged to you." Elena cut him off. That assumption reveals everything about how you police this community. Her phone rang from the evidence locker through the concrete wall. Sophia's worried voice carried, "Mom, the news says you're missing. Please call back." The activist with the live stream looked at his phone screen. "Y'all, this video already has 50,000 views. Share this everywhere." Elena walked calmly to the holding cell bars, addressing the activists directly. "Tomorrow, justice will be served, not just for me, but for every person these officers have humiliated, brutalized, and dehumanized." Patel's radio exploded with incoming calls. All media units respond to county jail. Channel 7 news en route. Mayor's office requesting an immediate briefing. The story was breaking in real time. By morning, the whole world would know what happened in this room. 3:45 p.m. Elena's release paperwork processed in record time as Chief Donovan arrived with Mayor Laura Chen and Police Union Representative Gary Klein. Elena waited in Patel's office, her shaved head covered by a county-issued beanie. "Your Honor, on behalf of the entire department," Chief Donovan began, sweat beading on his forehead. Elena cut him off with judicial authority. "Chief Donovan, save your apologies for the courtroom." Mayor Chen leaned forward desperately. "Judge Ramirez, surely we can handle this internally through proper channels." "Ma'am, with respect, this stopped being internal when it was live-streamed to 200,000 viewers." Elena replied coldly. Social media exploded like digital wildfire. Twitter's trending page showed Marcher Judge Ramirez at #1 worldwide. The livestream clips gained momentum faster than anyone could track. On Twitter, @Civil Rights posted, "This is systemic racism in action. A sitting judge treated like a common criminal at Legal Watch shared officers Vargas and Hayes have 17 prior complaints between them. Why are they still employed?" @Activist Speaks wrote, "They filmed themselves humiliating her. The audacity is breathtaking." Instagram stories flooded timelines. The original live stream hit 5 million views within 2 hours. TikTok reaction videos multiplied exponentially. News stations scrambled to cover the breaking story. Channel 7's anchor announced, "Breaking news. Superior Court Judge Elena Ramirez was arrested and allegedly assaulted by Los Angeles police during today's protests." Fox Local countered questions arise about whether Judge Ramirez was participating in illegal protest activities that justified police intervention. MSNBC led with disturbing footage shows police officers forcibly shaving a sitting judge's hair during booking procedures. At police union headquarters, Klein faced hostile reporters outside the building. "Mr. Klein is shaving a misdemeanor defendant's head standard procedure," demanded one reporter. Klein's prepared statement cracked under pressure. Officers Vargas and Hayes followed established booking protocols. "Any suggestion of misconduct is premature and inflammatory." "Oat. But you just said hair shaving was standard procedure. Can you show us that policy?" pressed another journalist. No comment on ongoing situations, Klein retreated. Meanwhile, Elena sat in her living room at 5:00 p.m. with her daughter, Sofia Ramirez Torres. Sofia, a civil rights attorney, held her mother as Elena's headscarf slipped, revealing the brutal haircut. "Mom, they destroyed your hair," Sofia whispered through tears. Elena's response was, "Steel wrapped in silk." "Hair grows back, baby. Dignity is permanent. They gave me something more valuable than hair." "What's that?" "Evidence, witnesses, and the moral authority to demand systemic change." Elena's phone buzzed constantly. CNN, Washington Post, ACLU, NAACP. Every major organization wanted statements. "Sofia, I need you to draft a federal civil rights complaint. I want every second of body cam footage. Every racist comment, every constitutional violation is documented." Sofia hesitated. "Mom, the media attention will be intense. They'll scrutinize everything." Honey, they made this public when they live-streamed my humiliation. Now we control the narrative. At the police station, Vargas and Hayes sat in internal affairs with union lawyer David Kessler. The room felt like a tomb. "Gentlemen, you're suspended pending federal investigation," announced IA Detective Ramirez. Kessler tried damage control. "My clients acted within established policy guidelines," Ramirez interrupted with barely contained anger. "Your clients arrested a sitting judge and recorded themselves assaulting her." Hayes exploded. "It wasn't an assault. It was standard contraband procedure. How are we supposed to know she was a judge?" Vargas added desperately. Ramirez played back Elena's recorded warnings. "Maybe because she told you to verify your facts." The security footage showed Elena's composed warnings and their dismissive laughter. Her dignity contrasted sharply with their unprofessional conduct. Kessler grasped for straws. The lighting was poor. She wore civilian clothes. Any reasonable officer would have made the same mistake, would have checked identification before making arrests. Ramirez finished. Elena's recording device recovered from the protest scene contained crystal-clear audio of the entire encounter. Elena's voice played back. "Officers, I strongly advise you to verify your facts before proceeding." Vargas's recorded response. "Oh, she's advising us now. You a lawyer, honey?" Ramirez leaned forward. "Your clients ignored multiple warnings from a judge trying to prevent this exact situation. Morning news cycles picked up the story globally. Good Morning America, led with Judge Elena Ramirez, will hold a press conference addressing her arrest and assault by Los Angeles police. The Today Show reported, "Checkered justice for Judge Ramirez has been shared over 2 million times overnight." CNN announced, "Legal experts say this case could set nationwide precedent for police accountability." Elena prepared for her press conference, sitting in chambers with Sophia, reviewing social media analytics. The numbers were staggering. 8 million views, 100,000 shares, trending in 31 countries. "Mom," Sophia said quietly, "the whole world is watching." Elena touched her headscarf and smiled grimly. "Good. It's time the world saw what accountability looks like." Day 2. Elena's chambers had transformed into a war room. Flowers from supporters worldwide covered every surface. FBI agent Lisa Chen spread evidence across Elena's mahogany desk, while Sophia organized legal documents. Elena wore an elegant African head wrap, her dignity intact despite everything. "Your Honor, this isn't an isolated incident," Agent Chen began. "We've been tracking Vargas and Hayes for 8 months. Chen projected a city map onto the wall. Red dots marked arrest locations in a disturbing pattern. Pattern analysis shows systematic targeting. 73% of their excessive force complaints involve people of color. They concentrate arrests in minority neighborhoods, despite being assigned to patrol the entire district." Elena studied the data with judicial precision. "Show me the financial trail." Chen opened her laptop. Spreadsheets filled the screen with damning numbers. Overtime fraud on an industrial scale. Vargas claimed 89 hours of protest duty last month. Hayes claimed 76 hours. Sophia looked up from her legal briefs. But the protests only lasted 6 hours total that day. Exactly. They've been falsifying reports to justify overtime pay. Your arrest was just another payday scheme. Vargas received $3,200 in overtime pay the week after your incident. Chen produced internal emails time-stamped at 2:30 a.m. the night of Elena's arrest. "The cover-up started immediately," Chen said, reading aloud. "Email from Chief Donovan to Klein. Contain this situation immediately. The Judge Ramirez incident is a public relations nightmare. Control narrative at all costs." Klein's response appeared on screen. "Already working media contacts. Can we claim she was intoxicated during the arrest?" Donovan replied, "Negative. The body camera shows she was completely coherent. Focus on illegal protest participation angle instead." Elena's jaw tightened, reading her victimization being strategized in real time. Chen opened a thick folder labeled Vargas Hayes Complaints, 2019 to 2024. The victims, she announced grimly. Victim profiles appeared on screen. Jamal Thompson, 19, college student, arrested for looking suspicious while waiting for the bus. Hair forcibly cut during booking. Charges dropped with no investigation. Lucia Gomez, 34, registered nurse, arrested during a routine traffic stop for contraband search. Strip searched in public view. $50,000 sealed settlement. Michael Lee, 45, high school teacher, arrested while volunteering at a homeless shelter, beaten during resistance to arrest. Currently in civil litigation. How many documented victims? Elena asked. 43 confirmed. The estimated actual number exceeds 200. Sophia pulled up social media responses flowing in real time. Mom, look at this Twitter thread at Jamal T. Speaks posted. Judge Ramirez, they did the same thing to me in 2019. Cut my hair, said it was contraband search. Thank you for fighting back. Thread 117. The thread showed photos of Jamal's shaved head identical to Elena's treatment. Facebook posts multiplied. Lucia Gomez wrote, I was too scared to speak up before, but seeing Judge Ramirez stand strong gives me courage. Vargas and Hayes humiliated me too. Instagram user Ate experienced what we endure daily. Chen produced police union contracts with highlighted sections glowing yellow, systematic protection mechanisms, qualified immunity clauses, automatic legal defense funding, mandatory arbitration for misconduct cases. Sophia shook her head. They're literally untouchable. Elena stood, pacing behind her desk. Not anymore. She opened her laptop and began typing rapidly. I'm issuing judicial orders for complete case review. Every arrest Vargas and Hayes made in 5 years. If they fabricated my charges, they fabricated others. Chen's computer chimed with new intelligence. Your Honor, Vargas's complete personnel file just arrived. He's been flagged by Internal Affairs 12 separate times, never disciplined once. 12 times? Sophia asked incredulously. Excessive force, falsifying reports, racial profiling, sexual harassment. The department knew exactly who these officers were and protected them. Anyway, Elena continued typing her judicial orders. This transcends 2 corrupt cops. This is systematic protection of corrupt cops. Sophia's phone buzzed with breaking news alerts. Mom, look at this Fox News headline. Judge Ramirez's protest participation raises impartiality questions. The article suggested Elena was an active anti-police protester, raising concerns about her ability to fairly judge law enforcement cases. Chen showed internal emails coordinating media manipulation. Email from Klein to Fox producer story angle. Judge was protesting illegally. Officers followed protocol. She's using position for personal revenge. Sophia's anger flared. They're making you the villain. Elena's response was measured steel. Then we show them what real villains look like. Chen produced financial records showing the scope of corruption. Vargas and Hayes aren't just brutal. They're running protection rackets. Drug dealers, prostitutes, illegal gambling operations. They collect fees to avoid arrest. Bank records showed regular deposits ranging from $500 to $2,000 into both officers' accounts. Your arrest threatened their entire operation. A sitting judge witnessing their methods. They had to discredit you completely. Elena reviewed phone logs showing Vargas and Hayes contacting dozens of other officers after her arrest. They're not acting alone, Elena concluded. This is organized. Chen nodded grimly. We're tracking coordination with officers in 6 other precincts. Your case opened a door we've been trying to breach for years. Elena stood at her window, watching protesters gather again outside the courthouse. Signs read, Justice for all 43 victims, and Elena's courage. Our freedom. Agent Chen, I want federal charges not just against Vargas and Hayes, against everyone who enabled them. Chen smiled for the first time since arriving. Your Honor, that's exactly what we were hoping you'd say. Elena's computer chimed with an urgent email. Subject line: Vargas Hayes, additional evidence. The sender, Officer Patel. The message read, Your Honor, there's something else you need to see. Something that changes everything. Day 4. 2 Komaker, 8 a.m. Elena jolted awake to her security system shrieking. Motion sensors triggered throughout her property. Her bedroom window revealed a black pickup truck idling across the street, headlights cutting through darkness like predatory eyes. She grabbed her phone and dialed 911. With trembling fingers. 911. What's your emergency? This is Judge Elena Ramirez. Someone's outside my house in a threatening manner. The operator's response chilled her. Ma'am, are you certain it's not a police protection detail? I didn't request any protection. The truck's engine revved menacingly. Tires squealed as it sped away, leaving behind the acrid smell of burned rubber. Elena peered through her blinds to discover spray paint across her mailbox. Dead judge walking. 2 a.m. at Sophia's apartment across town. Sophia's phone rang incessantly with blocked numbers and disguised voices. Voicemail 1. Your mommy should have kept her uppity mouth shut. Now the whole family pays the price. Voicemail 2. We know where you work, Sophia. Cute little law office on Pine Street. I would hate for something to happen. Voicemail 3. Judges can be replaced easily. Accidents happen every day. Sophia called Elena with shaking hands. Mom, are you getting death threats too? Honey, are you somewhere safe right now? I'm scared, Mom. They know everything about my life. At the police station, Detective Ramirez reviewed threat reports with Agent Chen. The conference room table was covered with transcripts and phone records. 67 threatening calls to Judge Ramirez, 43 to her daughter, 2 credible death threats with specific details about their daily routines. Chen studied linguistic analysis reports. Source tracking suggests law enforcement familiarity. They know police codes, internal procedures, shift schedules. Someone inside is coordinating this harassment campaign. Ramirez pulled up phone records spanning the previous 72 hours. Vargas and Hayes are suspended, but they're still communicating with active officers. Look at these numbers. The logs showed 47 calls between Vargas and various department officers since Elena's arrest. 9:00 p.m. the same day, Alex, Elena's law clerk, left the courthouse through the underground parking garage. 3 men in civilian clothes emerged from the shadows between concrete pillars. Alex, right? You work for Judge Ramirez? Alex clutched his briefcase tighter. Yes, sir. Is there some kind of problem? The tallest man stepped closer, his voice carrying subtle menace. Depends entirely on your definition of the problem. What's your boss planning for tomorrow's trial? I can't discuss judicial proceedings with unauthorized personnel. The second man circled behind Alex, blocking his escape route. Kid, you seem intelligent, smart enough to recognize when discretion serves your best interests. Alex's keys rattled in his trembling hand. Are you threatening me? We're offering friendly advice, the third man said. Judge Ramirez is making dangerous enemies. Enemies who remember their friends and their obstacles. Alex fumbled with his car door lock. I need to leave immediately. Tell the judge some cases are better left undisturbed, the first man said, as Alex finally got into his car. Next morning, in Elena's chambers, Alex recounted the parking garage incident. Elena's expression hardened into judicial steel. They're systematically isolating me, cutting off my support network through intimidation. Her computer displayed over 300 hostile emails received overnight. Subject lines read, Black judges don't belong. Hang the race baiter. We know your home address. Elena's hands shook slightly, scrolling through the concentrated hatred. Sophia entered carrying coffee in grim determination. Mom, I hired private security. FBI recommends immediate protection. If I hide, they win this psychological warfare. If you die, Everyone loses. Elena opened her desk drawer, revealing a typed resignation letter. I drafted this last night. Thought maybe stepping down would protect you from retaliation. Sophia's voice cracked. Mom, please don't. 43 victims, Ma. If I quit now, they will escape justice forever. Elena deleted the resignation letter with decisive keystrokes, but continuing means you remain a target. Sophia opened her laptop, showing a GoFundMe page. Justice for Judge Ramirez, Legal Defense Fund. The counter showed $847,000 raised in 72 hours. Look at this. Support messages from judges, lawyers, citizens nationwide. You're not fighting alone. Elena read testimonials from colleagues. Judge Martinez from Texas. Standing with you, colleague. Justice cannot be intimidated by thugs. ACLU donation, $100,000. This case defines civil rights for the next generation. Anonymous citizen. My son was brutalized by these same officers. Get them, Your Honor. Elena's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Courtroom tomorrow, 10:15 a.m. Come alone, or Sophia gets hurt. An attached photo showed Sophia leaving her office that morning. Someone had been watching them both. Day 5, 7:00 a.m. Agent Chen burst into Elena's chambers with Officer Patel and a woman Elena didn't recognize. The morning light streamed through bulletproof windows recently installed for security. Your Honor, meet Detective Mia Foster, Internal Affairs Undercover. Detective Foster was young, black, and carried herself with determined purpose. Her handshake was firm, her eyes blazing with righteous anger. Judge Ramirez, I've been investigating Vargas and Hayes for 2 years, working undercover to build airtight cases against corrupt officers. Elena studied Foster carefully. 2 years is a long time to maintain cover. I applied to Internal Affairs specifically to target these predators. Your arrest gave me the opening I desperately needed. Patel set a heavy evidence box on Elena's desk with shaking hands. Your Honor, there's something I never disclosed about that night. Something that changes everything. He produced a USB drive from his jacket pocket. My personal body camera has extended battery life. It kept recording after official booking procedures ended. Patel connected the drive to Elena's computer. Footage began playing. After Elena was processed, Vargas and Hayes returned to the intake area, believing all recording had stopped. Did you see her face when I grabbed her hair? Vargas's voice was crystal clear. Priceless reaction. These uppity ones need to be put in their place, Hayes responded. Think she'll remember this humiliation in court tomorrow? Hayes laughed cruelly. What's she going to do? Complain to the judge. She is the judge, you complete idiot. Not when she's in my jail. She's not in here. I'm God! Elena's composure finally cracked. Tears flowed freely down her cheeks. They knew exactly who I was and brutalized me. Anyway, Foster opened her laptop, revealing financial spreadsheets. There's more evidence, much more. Vargas and Hayes aren't just corrupt cops. They're running sophisticated criminal enterprises. The screen filled with bank records showing regular deposits. Drug dealers, prostitutes, illegal gambling operations. They collect protection fees to avoid arrest. Your arrest threatened their entire operation. Chen leaned forward. That's why they recorded your humiliation. Insurance policy for blackmail. Foster produced a second phone from evidence. Hayes's burner phone. He's been coordinating the harassment campaign against you and Sophia. Text messages appeared chronologically. Hayes to unknown contact. Judge needs to be taught a lesson. Make it personal and painful. Unknown contact to Hayes. What about the daughter? Hayes to unknown contact. Fair game. Make them both terrified. Elena's voice was steel. You have proof they're targeting Sophia specifically. Photos, addresses, work schedules, daily routines, complete stalking operation with multiple participants. Patel spoke quietly, his guilt evident. Your Honor, there's something else. Hayes has been targeting women systematically for years. He opened another file. Photos of female arrestees appeared, all with brutally shaved heads. 16 women in 2 years, all subjected to contraband searches, all documented as standard procedure. Elena recognized the predatory pattern immediately. Young women, mostly minorities, all physically attractive. This isn't law enforcement. This is sexual predation disguised as police procedure. Sexual assault with government protection, Foster confirmed. Sophia entered with 3 people Elena didn't expect to see. Mom, meet your legal dream team. Attorney David Rivera from ACLU National stepped forward first. Your Honor, this case is now a federal civil rights matter. Dr. Patricia Jones from the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division followed. We're opening a pattern and practice investigation into the entire Los Angeles Police Department. Professor Marcus Steele from Harvard Constitutional Law completed the trio. We're seeking criminal charges against Vargas Hayes, Chief Donovan, and Union Representative Klein. Elena felt overwhelmed by the sudden support. I just wanted justice for one night of abuse. Now it's become something much larger. Sophia touched her mother's shoulder gently. Mom, you opened a door that's been locked for decades. You gave permission for the truth to emerge. Rivera showed Elena his tablet, displaying live footage from courthouse steps. 800 protesters outside right now. Look at the signs. Signs read, Justice for Jamal. Lucia Gomez deserves truth. 43 victims. One voice. Sophia pulled up the live stream audio. The other victims are speaking publicly. Your courage gave them permission. Elena watched as Jamal Thompson took the microphone outside. Judge Ramirez, you saved my life by speaking up. They destroyed my hair, my dignity, my trust in justice. But today, justice fights back through your strength. Chen's phone buzzed with urgent intelligence. Your Honor, we just received the motherlode evidence. She projected her screen onto the wall. Klein's emails to police union chapters nationwide. He's been sharing techniques for discrediting problematic judges across America. Email threads appeared, remanaging activist judges. Klein to Phoenix Police Union. Los Angeles model works perfectly. Target them personally. Make them choose between family safety and court duties. Phoenix response. Tried your methods on Judge Rodriguez. She recused herself from 3 police cases last month. Klein's reply. Perfect outcome. Fear is more effective than law. Elena stood looking out her window at the growing crowd of supporters. They've been doing this systematically. Nationwide judicial intimidation. Steele nodded grimly. Your case isn't just about Los Angeles. It's about judicial independence across America. Chen's radio crackled with FBI dispatch. All units arrest warrants issued. Vargas, Hayes, Donovan, Klein, multiple federal charges, including conspiracy to violate civil rights. Elena watched through her window as news vans multiplied outside the courthouse. Your Honor, Sophia said softly, the whole world is about to see justice served. Day 6, Elena's case exploded across every digital platform simultaneously. The hashtag #TourJudgeRamirez evolved into hatch-end police abuse, trending globally with unprecedented momentum. Twitter reached saturation. 2 million tweets in 24 hours. Ash Judges United posted 312 judges nationwide stand with Judge Ramirez. Judicial independence is democracy's foundation at Black Lives Matter shared. This is exactly why we fight when they target a judge. Imagine what they do to us at Civil Rights Declared Pattern Confirmed in 23 cities. Los Angeles isn't alone. TikTok became a viral battleground. The most popular video showed a young woman saying, POV, you're Judge Ramirez. Walking into court tomorrow while putting on judicial robes, 12 million views. Another viral clip featured women of all races shaving their heads in solidarity. Hair Transformation for Justice, 8.7 million views. A third video showed someone dramatically reading Vargas and Hayes' arrest warrants, like bedtime stories, 15.3 million views. At Los Angeles courthouse steps, 2,000 protesters gathered in organized solidarity. The crowd stretched for 6 city blocks. Jamal Thompson addressed the massive gathering, his own shaved head covered by a justice beanie. They cut Judge Ramirez's hair to humiliate her. They cut my hair to break me. But today, we stand unbroken and unashamed. The crowd erupted in thunderous approval. Lucia Gomez took the microphone, flanked by 12 other women, all Vargas and Hayes victims. For 5 years, I was too ashamed to speak. They made me feel dirty and powerless. Judge Ramirez showed me that shame belongs to them, not us. Michael Lee spoke last, his teacher's voice carrying across the plaza. Tomorrow, when Judge Ramirez sentences these officers, she speaks for all of us. Every person they terrorized, every family they destroyed, every dream they had was crushed. Nationwide solidarity protests erupted simultaneously. Chicago, 5,000 marched through downtown Loop, New York. Federal judges rallied outside Brooklyn Courthouse. Los Angeles, Hollywood celebrities joined ACLU demonstrations. Atlanta organized massive voter registration drives. Live stream numbers shattered all records. CNN Live drew 3 million viewers. Facebook Live reached 4.7 million. YouTube Live captured 8.1 million. TikTok Live peaked at 12.4 million simultaneous viewers worldwide. At police union headquarters, Klein attempted to escape through the back exit. Reporters swarmed like angry hornets. "Mr. Klein, how do you respond to evidence of nationwide police corruption?" shouted one reporter. Klein pushed through the crowd. No comment on pending litigation. "Did you coordinate harassment against Judge Ramirez's family?" pressed another journalist. Klein's face flushed red. "These allegations are completely baseless." "Sir, your own emails prove coordination with other police unions," a third reporter demanded. Klein's car sped away as protesters chanted in perfect unison, "Resignation, prosecution, justice." Now that evening, Elena sat in her living room with Sophia and her security detail, watching wall-to-wall news coverage on multiple screens. CNN's anchor reported, "Tomorrow's sentencing has become a defining moment for police accountability in America." MSNBC's host declared, "Judge Ramirez's courage has inspired a movement stretching far beyond Los Angeles." Fox News offered a different perspective. Critics argued Judge Ramirez's case has been politicized beyond legal recognition. Elena muted all television simultaneously. "Sophia, tomorrow isn't about politics or movements. It's about law and justice." Sophia looked at her mother with deep admiration. "Mom, you're not just a judge anymore. You've become a symbol of resistance." Elena touched her head scarf thoughtfully. Symbols fade with time. Justice endures forever. Her phone displayed 47,000 unread messages of support from around the globe. Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan texted, "Elena, the entire federal judiciary stands with you tomorrow." Former Attorney General Eric Holder emailed, "Your courage reminds us why we serve justice, not power." The Mandela Foundation sent a WhatsApp message from South Africa. "Your strength echoes freedom fighters worldwide." At County Jail, Vargas and Hayes sat in separate cells watching news coverage through tiny windows. "How many people are outside?" Hayes asked the guard. "Last count, 25,000 and growing every hour." Hayes peered through his window. News helicopters circled overhead like mechanical vultures. "Think she'll show mercy?" Vargas called from his cell. Hayes laughed bitterly. "Are you insane? We're completely screwed." Elena's phone rang at midnight. Caller ID displayed, White House. Sophia gasped audibly. "Mom, it's the president." Day 7, Sentencing day, 8:30 a.m. Courthouse security screened thousands of spectators through metal detectors. Every major news network broadcasts live from satellite trucks lining the streets. Protesters packed surrounding blocks in organized solidarity. Courtroom B, at exactly 1000 a.m. Elena entered wearing her black judicial robes, her shaved head covered by an elegant African kente cloth head wrap. The packed courtroom rose in respectful silence that felt sacred. Court is now in session. People versus Vargas and Hayes. Both officers sat in orange jumpsuits, shackled hand and foot. Their expensive defense lawyers flanked them like expensive suits protecting worthless contents. Defense attorney Kessler stood immediately. Your Honor, I move for recusal based on personal involvement and clear bias. Elena's response was swift and final. Motion denied. As the victim of defendants' crimes, I am uniquely qualified to understand their devastating impact. The gallery erupted in applause and cheers. Elena's gavel restored order with 3 sharp strikes. Before sentencing, this court will review evidence of defendants' systematic pattern of abuse. Agent Chen operated the courtroom's advanced display system from the prosecution table. Exhibit A. Body camera footage of my arrest and assault. The large screens filled with footage. The packed courtroom watched in horrified silence as Elena's hair fell to concrete in brutal chunks. Vargas's voice echoed through speakers. Smile for the camera, Your Honor. I mean, inmate. Audible gasps filled the courtroom. Hayes visibly flinched at hearing his partner's damning slip. Exhibit B. Financial records showing systematic overtime fraud, totaling $137,000. Spreadsheets appeared on screen. False overtime claims spanning 3 years in precise detail. Exhibit C. Evidence of a coordinated harassment campaign against my family. Hayes's text messages filled the screens in devastating clarity. Judges need to be taught a lesson. Make it personal and painful. What about the daughter? Fair game. Make them both terrified. Sophia gripped Elena's hand as threats against her were displayed publicly. The court will now hear from additional victims. Jamal Thompson approached the podium with quiet dignity. Your Honor, Officer Hayes shaved my head in 2019. Told me it was for gang identification. I was a college honor student with a 4.20 GPA. Lucia Gomez followed, her voice strong despite tears. Officer Vargas strip searched me during a routine traffic stop. Said my nurse scrubs could hide weapons. 40 people watched my humiliation. Michael Lee spoke last with the teacher's precision. These officers didn't just assault our bodies. They assaulted our faith in justice itself. 16 total victims testified. The courtroom wept openly at their stories. Finally, Exhibit Z, audio recording from Officer Hayes's personal device. Complete silence filled the courtroom. A crystal-clear recording played. Hayes and Vargas in a bar 3 days after Elena's arrest. You know what the best part was? She actually thought she could intimidate us with her judge act. Stupid judge or not, she's still just another in. Elena stopped playback before the racial slur finished. The partial word reverberated through the courtroom like a physical blow. Hayes jumped to his feet desperately. Your Honor, that recording was taken completely out of context. Elena's interruption was ice cold. Officer Hayes, you and Officer Vargas have shown this court exactly who you are. Racist, corrupt, predatory. The moment arrived. Elena stood, her presence commanding absolute silence. Officer Vargas, for civil rights violations, assault under color of law, fraud, and conspiracy. 8 years federal prison, no possibility of parole. Vargas collapsed into his chair like a deflated balloon. Officer Hayes, for the same charges plus evidence of systematic sexual assault. 12 years federal prison. Hayes screamed with desperate rage. This is a public lynching. You can't do this to us. Elena's response was delivered with devastating calm. Officer Hayes, What happened to me was an assault. What I'm doing to you is justice." The courtroom erupted in sustained standing ovation. Tears, cheers, justice finally served after decades of waiting. Outside the courthouse, the crowd of 30,000 erupted as news broke instantly. The celebration spread across the country through social media. Live stream numbers shattered all previous records. Total viewers 47 million worldwide. Shares 12.3 million. Comments 2.8 million. Global reactions poured in immediately. London headlines: American judge shows true courage. Johannesburg papers: justice prevails in Los Angeles. Tokyo news: black judge's bravery inspires world. As Elena exited the courthouse, she deliberately removed her head wrap. Her shaved head was visible to the entire world. "They tried to strip away my dignity," she told reporters. Instead, they revealed their own complete disgrace. A reporter called out, "Your Honor, what happens next?" Elena's smile was steel wrapped in silk. 41 other victims still need justice. This court will provide it. Her phone buzzed with a text from the Department of Justice. "Judge Ramirez, we need to talk immediately. Nationwide police reform legislation. Your input required." Attorney General, 3 months later, federal prison. Vargas and Hayes mopped floors in orange jumpsuits. "Should have listened when she said to check our facts," Hayes muttered. 8 years to think about it, Vargas replied. Elena's chambers had transformed. Her hair grew back into a beautiful, short, natural style. Walls displayed thank you letters from worldwide supporters. Television news. The Ramirez Police Reform Act passed Congress unanimously, named after Judge Elena Ramirez. It mandates body cameras, civilian oversight, and federal prosecution for civil rights violations. Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Donovan nameplate was gone. New nameplate. Chief Mia Foster. Foster at a press conference. This department will earn back community trust through accountability, not intimidation. Jamal Thompson graduated law school. His cap read, "Justice served." Lucia Gomez received the ACLU Award for Courage, holding Elena's photo. Judge Ramirez taught us dignity cannot be shaved away. Michael Lee taught a new class, constitutional law and police accountability. First slide showed Elena's courtroom photo, Elena's final television interview. "How has this experience changed you?" Elena touched her short hair. "They thought they were cutting my hair." "Really?" "They were cutting chains protecting corruption. Any regrets?" "Only that it took my assault to expose what communities of color endure daily." "What's next?" "Justice every day for everyone." Statistics appeared. 347 officers prosecuted, 47 million in victim compensation, 89% reform approval. Elena entered her courtroom. The head wrap read, "Justice served." Like, if you believe in accountability, subscribe for justice stories. Share your police experiences below after credit beat. Elena's phone rang. International Criminal Court. Judge Ramirez. "Your Honor, police brutality situation in 3 countries. We need your experience." Elena smiled. "Where do you need me?" Fade to black. Judge Ramirez International Justice Part 2 next week. Subscribe and hit notifications for Judge Ramirez's next justice.